Well, greetings and welcome to Integrity Biofeedback Academy. Wednesday mornings Q&A. We're coming to you live and in vivid color from Southwest Florida. So, we've had the black background for a while, and this morning I thought to myself, you know what? We need to introduce you to Southwest Florida shell size, or shell size. Um, I also want to say that if there are any Canadians on the call, if you're still in Canada, just look around because you're probably the only one still there, at least in Ontario, because the rest of you are already here in Southwest Florida. If you live in New York or Ohio, I am very confident that in about, I would say about 72 hours, you'll be on I-75 heading this direction. So if you live in any of those states, we're ready for you. We're waiting for you. We have turned off the heat. We have turned on the air. We've got the sun shining. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. This is the reason why people actually live here. Some of us actually do stay here year-round. And we are the stalworthy ones. We are the ones that make it through the storms. We're the ones that are still hanging on to the palm trees when the wind stops blowing. So we want to welcome you to our Southwest Florida today. How about that, Sharron?
Yes, and I have an addendum to add to that. You'll probably see a lot of heavy traffic going the other direction to Canada after our election. We hear that there's a lot of people from the States going to Canada as Canadians are coming down to enjoy our good weather. But we won't go there because that's over and done with, and aren't we glad about that?
That is true. Okay. Well, I just want to give a wink to the sharp one and say nice to see you in class. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning right away. As I said, and as I do say on each and every single Wednesday morning, this is a Q&A, which means, drum roll, questions and answers. I want you to know that this is a class where you can, it's not a class, it is a time where you can ask anything that you want to about biofeedback and the Infinity device. Some of you that are on the calls now are using the life systems, and it has been opened up to life practitioners as well as Infinity practitioners, and we even have some other people that are considering practicing, but they are in the field of energy. So we just want to let you know that today is, as every Wednesday morning is until the end of the year, it is Q&A for you to ask questions. So please start typing in your questions now. I know what usually happens is after we start talking about a couple of different things, then consequently that brings up your questions and you start really typing frantically. Type frantically now. And remember, there are no questions that are off limits. 2 weeks ago, I threatened you and said that if you didn't have questions, we would end early because it was not a class. Well, I guess that's one of my faults, is that I don't follow through on my threats very often. So today we are going to be talking about knows your frequencies. That's where we're going to start today, but we want to answer your questions. So I'm going to go ahead and just remind you that if you have any technical problems or issues, these are the numbers that I want you to call, the toll-free numbers here, and please feel free to call that. Karen Williams, if she doesn't pick it up, she will answer your call with a return call. So there are the numbers. You can find that on the Quantum Life website, www.quantum-life.com. Not dash. I always say that I'm going to fix that, and I don't. See, didn't follow through. This is our disclaimer. We do have this on every single call. For those of you who are new, the most important information there is in red, but I want you to be taking a look at this and understanding that whether you're working with the Infinity or the Life system, which should say biofeedback apps or systems, works work like evoked potential biofeedback devices, basically. And the information provided here should not be construed as a claim or representation that the program is intended for use in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, prevention of disease, or any other medical condition. An evoked potential biofeedback device records subtle, reactive informational stress potentials. For those of you who are taking some of our courses, you will understand why the body does react to certain frequencies or signals that are provided to the body. And this is provided by the client during the assessment procedure. The program evaluates such responses and then challenges the individual with that information by feeding it back to the client. The process merely assists the body's own natural defense mechanisms by encouraging energetic balance and harmony. Please remember, only duly qualified and licensed healthcare practitioners may make assumptions relative to specific disorders or medical conditions. Quantum Life and Integrity Biofeedback Inc. and Academy shall not be responsible for any such misrepresentations. If you do that, you're on your own. This is where you can reach us. And we certainly, whoops, let's get me out of there. We'll scoot this right over. You can reach us at at that phone number there, the 239-221-8977, or integritybiofeedback@gmail.com. There is the quantumlifeeducation.com website, IBA's website, which is where you will sign up for classes and courses coming up. It's at www.biofeedbackedu.com. And we do have an associate's program as well on there. If you are interested in, you know, offering these products to anybody else, you might as well make some money while you're doing it. I always think that's a good idea, don't you, Sharron?
Yes, I do. I had to find my right button there. Yes, of course. We want to spread the blessings because we're blessed and we want to share it with others. So yes, and I might say that if you are a life system practitioner, we do give quite a hefty commission if you sell a life system to someone else. And we do all of the paperwork and all the demos and all of that, but you can refer people to us that you've talked to about the life system, and that's a really, really nice commission. I mean, really. And going into the holidays, any extra money we can get for ourselves to bless other people with our gifts, it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Okay, and here is Karen Williams, CEO of Quantum Life. And there is her email. Again, you can shoot her an email. The best way to get a hold of her, truthfully, is through that email. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and take care of that now. Or not now, not now, but that's the email. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here looking out my window. I've had to make this apology to you last year too. The windows are open, the breeze is blowing, it's just so gorgeous. I want to be on the other side of the window here, so I'm sorry, I'll try to keep myself focused and in place. Sharron, is Karen on?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, then I may actually turn it over to you for a bit here in just a minute, so if you want to get ready. This was going to be Fixing the Glitchings, starring Karen Williams, and we may get back to that if Karen gets on. I know that some of you have been calling us and emailing us. We want to reiterate to you, it's not that we're trying to throw you under the bus. We have no control over some of the issues that are taking place. I know I've had one person send us an email and said that a particular panel was not presenting itself. It had disappeared completely, even with re-downloading. Some of you have the Quanta Capsule, as I do, and the Quanta Capsules have not been working very well. And I know Karen is aware of all of this, and I know that she has been speaking to the programmer. And of course, we thank you for your patience. It's been ongoing, and our patients are weary, and we get it. We get it as practitioners, And we also get it that you are also weary of that. So hopefully Karen will come back around, and if she does, or if she gets on, which she is almost 99% of the time here, I'm going to ask her to give us an update. But in the meantime, I am going to turn it over to Sharron. Sharron, do we have any questions that I need to answer before we scoot over to you?
Uh, we do have a couple questions that you can address right now, and then another one that's just come in about the nosures, which is I know you're going to talk about
Mm-hmm.
in a little bit here.
Yes.
So if we can deal with the first couple ones, it's not really a question for us. It's really about the designer of the systems, but it's a good one. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what thoughts you
Mm-hmm.
have about this. This is from Cynthia, and she's asking, why doesn't the life system have gamma waves like the Infinity app? Does that mean that the gamma waves are not as relevant to the individual?
Cynthia, my darling. Yes, the life system, for those of you who do have the life system, you will notice that, and for those of you who have the life and the infinity, the life system does not have the gamma brain waves, is what Cynthia is referring to. And that is correct. They are not on the life system. I would not say that it's not that they're not as important. I think they are. I think that the life system has been around for many years, probably since the early 90s, I believe. And at that time, I think that there was quite a bit of ongoing study about the gamma waves and what their impact was and how important they were. And perhaps that's why it was left out. And in the last several years, they have had several updates to the life system. That just has not been one of them. The gamma wave for the brain is a very high vibration for spiritual type connections and things like that, is my understanding of it, I should say. And I know that it is used for that. And and learning very high, just a very powerful frequency, really. And that is in your infinity. So for those of you who do have the life systems, you can always use your rife area in your time specifics if you know the exact frequencies of the gamma wave. You can put it in your sweep and in the time specific. So in other words, if it was zero point 0.4 hertz to 10 hertz or 20 hertz or whatever it was, you could place it in that sweep and you could use that. So that's my answer to that question. Okay? And next, Sharon?
The next one is about the nosures.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go
And
ahead
that's
and
all we have so far.
I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let you move your system there.
Okay, let me find the right. Where did it go? There it is. I just want to talk briefly about what we have to offer. Some of you are new on the call. I can see names popping in here. Just a reminder that we have finished the Infinity Proficiency Training. This is 5 hours of video recordings with a 62-page full-color manual that correlates with all those hours of instruction. It'll take you through your entire Infinity, screen by screen, where to start, how to process, and think about when you're working with clients or your family and friends. I know we have several that are just have the app for themselves. Some are beginning a practice with it or incorporating it into their practice. And so this is now available for you, so you can go on our website and look at the details of that. But we're very excited about having that done, and many of you are taking that class and finding it to be very helpful from what you're telling us. So we appreciate that very much. We also have the life system proficiency training, since we have some life system practitioners on our call now. Just finished this a couple months ago. This is a 5.5 hours of video recordings with a 50-page full color manual. Again, it takes you step by step, starting with the reactivity test. Actually, before that, how do you prepare clients before they even are sitting down in your chair for the sessions to begin? What do they need to think about? How to talk to them about what you're doing? That's true of the Infinity Proficiency Training as well. Some very basics about how to explain what you're about to do with your system with them, how it works on their level. and also then step by step how to work through, in this case, the life system. Also, it goes screen by screen. As you know, if you have that system, there are, I think, 14 different screens, wellness screens that you can go into that are packed with a lot of things that you can test for and so forth. And so it goes step by step, and then how to finish up the training or the client session at the end and so forth. So that's available. Both of these courses, well, let me back up before I say that. If you are an Infinity practitioner, either beginning a practice or you are incorporating it into an existing practice, whether you're a chiropractor, massage therapist, medical doctor, and so forth, you are qualified to take the Stress Management Certification Program. All of our programs and courses are approved by the Natural Therapy Certification Board. This is an international board. We are certified in North America, which of course includes our friends in Canada, Mexico, and in Europe also. We are certified in all our courses. Instructors and certification programs are certified by the NTCB. That is huge, and I won't go into detail about that, but you should be very happy about that, because we are. Want to go through this real briefly because we're getting questions about what's entailed in the certification program. This is for Infinity users. This is the Stress Management Certification Program. You get 45 CEUs of the basic skills training. That includes the course Stress for Success. With that course, you get 2 free stress panels for your Infinity. And if you've been on these calls for very long, you know we talk about this course a lot, the parasympathetic nervous system and so forth. This goes through the role of our thoughts, emotions, and spiritual beliefs in relation to the physiological process of how stress affects us physically. It's important not to just stop at the physiological process. Important to know about that, certainly, the HPA axis and so forth. But if you don't get to the thoughts and emotions and spiritual beliefs underneath it, you're going to be chasing symptoms till the cows come home. That's an old farmer term that we used to say in Ohio. And there you go. And we preach a lot about that and teach it here as well. So that's part of that. The principles of energetic intervention is part of that certification program. And also, both of these courses are part of the life system proficiency or the biofeedback certification program as well. The history and latest scientific research of why and how your Infinity app works. Again, these courses are all pre-recorded, so you can just order them, listen to your heart's content. You get student notes with these as well. The certification program also includes the professional conduct correspondence courses. These are worth 40 CEUs, and you see them listed there. And you can get full details of this on our website, or you can email me and I can send you the PDF of all the descriptions of this as well. Another course that I just finished teaching Monday night to a group of students, the Basic Skills Coaching Workshop, Working Within the Legalities of Biofeedback. This course is worth 45 CEUs, all about why biofeedback practitioners are being taken to court and how to stay out of court, which is a great idea, and also a lot of skills on how to empower your clients so that you're staying within your scope of practice, but also, as I said, empowering your clients to take responsibility and not just have them sit there in your office and you push their buttons and they get up and say thank you very much, hand you their money, and they're on their way, and then they come back stressed out the next week as they were coming in the first week to you. How to empower them in making good decisions to reduce their stress. That's a great course. Again, if you want information about that, you can either email me, call me, and we can talk about all that you need to know about that. I think I'm just going to stop right there. Let's see what all this is. Oh, yes, the appendix. Well, that's a whole different thing. Oh, I don't know what's happening. I'm out of control. So
yes,
anyway.
I just took the control away from you. How do you like that? I
Oh,
push the buttons around here.
So if you have, the bottom line is, if you have the Infinity and you want to practice with it and get clients money, you are qualified to take the stress management certification program. If you have a life system and you want certified, you are qualified to take the biofeedback certification program. The programs are very similar. The biofeedback certification program has a bit more CEUs. Basic training in the life system is what we just saw, and also a final test, and a couple other things, but basically they're both the same programs. But if you want to know where you fit and what your goals should be, and with your, just give me a call. I'll be happy to talk to you. Sometimes it helps to talk to a live person versus a dead
Yes,
one, I guess. And we can help you with your educational goals. Okay,
that's true.
thank you.
That's true. And I just want to try to just clarify just a little bit more. The reason that we have two different certifications, and I'm sorry I was doing something else while Sharron was giving that, so if she mentioned this, forgive me for duplicating it, but the reason that we have a biofeedback certification and we have a stress management certification is because biofeedback certification is relegated to devices that are FDA registered as biofeedback devices. The Infinity app does not have to be. It is not, they're not doing anything wrong. It does not have to be registered as a biofeedback device because it is an app. So consequently, the Infinity cannot be designated as a biofeedback app under the biofeedback certification. So in other words, you will do a stress management certification, which does cover you then for using that and other stress management items. Okay, let's move on now. We're going to talk about Paul Nogier. And this is what he had to say. I'm sure you've all been sitting there reading it, but he says our lives depend on a symphony of vibrations, a symphony that is often unheard and unseen until we experience symptoms of discomfort and eventually disease. This symphony of vibration or frequencies is the language of the universe. That's where I'm going to leave you on that, because I talk to you each and every week about the fact that you are energy practitioners. I try to encourage you to take pride in that. The universe is made of vibrations or frequencies or signals or waves, whatever you want to call them. They kind of all fall into that area there, and they have multiple names. But I want you to see that it is the language of the universe, okay? So it's really, really important. So in your Infinity app, and we're going to be looking at it in just a minute, you have under the area where the customized panels are, you have the Nogier frequencies. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about them right now. These are the main three that Paul Nogier actually identified, and he did this between the 50s and the 70s. And his research found that these frequencies, these first three, are the ones that stimulate the creation of our body tissues. Hello, I hope you're sitting out there listening right now, because we're going to talk about the frequencies. This number one is actually frequency A, and that is the frequency for outermost tissue that forms skin, glands, nerves, eyes, ears, teeth, brain, spinal cord, tissues known medically as ectoderm. Okay? Is that important? Oh, wow. This frequency instructs the body and supports the body in restoring and healing itself in those areas. Has anybody got any issues with glands? Anybody got any issues with eyes or ears or brain? Skin? My goodness. I dare say that everybody on the call could use that frequency. And guess what? It's free. It's in your device. So that is super. Number two there is actually your B frequency in your Infinity. The innermost tissues that form the lining of the intestinal tract, lungs, bladder, urethra, and auditory tube. These are tissues known medically as the endoderm, okay? Because that means, of course, they're on the inside, and ecto, and number one, means they're on the outside. They're the covering. So we see what that has an impact on. I want to also add to that by saying it has an impact on the liver, the bladder, thyroid gland, pancreas, thymus gland. This is really, really important, ladies and gentlemen, and it's in the infinity. Number 3, which is frequency C, middle tissue that forms connective tissue, heart, blood, and lymph vessels, kidneys, ovaries, testes, spleen, and cortex of the adrenal gland. Tissues known medically as the mesoderm, or the middle tissues. This is mind-blowing. I hope that you're excited, even those of you who have been using it for a long time. Get all excited again, because when you offer this frequency to the body, or any one of these are the areas that it supports. Now, how many people come to you for heart-related issues? How many people come to you for intestinal problems, or lung problems, or hearing issues and stressors? How many come to you with eye issues or skin irritations? Well, you have the foundational signal or frequency pattern to offer them. On frequency A, up there on the top for the ectoderm, that actually assists with wound healing, nerve repair, helping to reduce inflammation, of course, repairing of the skin, reducing scar tissues, and even helps with reducing tumors. Okay, I'm not saying, now you have to remember, we have our disclaimer there. This is according to Paul Nogiers. He's the doctor, he's the PhD, but this is his findings. And all I'm saying to you is that you have that hertz frequency in your device. On number 2 there, the endoderm, the signal for that, it improves nutritional assimilation, balances the, and now we need a drum roll, parasympathetic nervous system. It also has an impact on allergies and sensitivities. Why? Because it is the tissue, the innermost tissue that forms things like liver and lungs. Okay, so those things are really, really important, okay? Number 3, there for the mesoderm, that also helps with connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, cartilage, muscle, bone, cortex of the adrenal gland, which is already up there. But pain in the muscles or the skeletal or myofascial areas. Wow! If that's all that you had in your infinity, you could go to town. Because just about everything that could ever be out of whack and out of balance is taken care of in those top 3 things. Let's take a look at the Nogier frequencies. You can see them here. You can see that A is 292 hertz, B is 584, C 1168 hertz, D 2336 hertz, E, I'm sorry, yeah, E, I knew what I'm saying. What am I saying? 4672 hertz, F 73 hertz, G 146 hertz, and finally L, which is 276 hertz. What I want to bring to your attention is that E and F, okay, right here, sorry, F and G, follow me, ignore what I'm saying, remember what I'm saying, I got to be clear here, F and G hertz frequencies here, and in the Nogiers are actually harmonic frequencies. These others are foundational, okay? And we're going to learn about that right now for those of you who don't know. The lowest resonant frequency of a vibrating object is called its fundamental frequency. Most vibrating objects have more than one resonant frequency. Okay, so when we saw back here on this screen, these first several items right here, these are the main foundational Hertz frequencies for these different areas. Okay, so this is their main lowest resonant frequency. Now, let's take a look at harmonic frequencies and why they're a little bit different. A harmonic frequency is a regular and repeating multiple of an original wave pattern known as a fundamental frequency. Okay, remember we just learned that, so it's the lowest resonating frequency. So if the original wave is set at 500 Hertz, it would experience a first harmonic frequency at 1,000 Hertz, or double the fundamental frequency. The second harmonic frequency would be at 1,500 Hertz, triple the fundamental frequency. The third harmonic frequency would be 2,000 Hertz, quadruple the fundamental frequency, and so on. What I want to suggest to you, and I asked Sharron this morning because I'm the singer, but she's the piano player. I said, it's kind of like a chord. When you hit high C on your piano, you ring this one note, right? Okay, at that specific frequency. But when you make the chord around that, you have brought in harmonizing frequencies or sounds or resonations. So that's what you're doing when you're doing a harmonious or a chord, and that is the difference between a harmony frequency and a fundamental frequency. Okay. So I'm not ready for that one yet. I want to come up to this right now and bring this up. Okay, here we are in our customized panel, and you can see here are the Nogiers. I'm just going to scroll this down here a bit. You can see here all the different Nogiers that have been actually run the scan on. As you can see, for those of you who are interested, here's the Stress for Success panel. It was run first thing this morning, and you can see there are some needs in there. But I also want you to note up in here, these values, and by the way, the Nogiers do not ever leave the customized screen. They're always there. So no matter what panel you put in, no matter which customized panel that you bring there to run the scan on, you're always going to have the Nogiers there. That is something that we hope to see when the number 2 update comes out, that maybe we get a Nogiers panel that on its own. But for now, it is under your customized. So we can see here, again, the values here are going to be anything well over 600 are out of balance, and well below like 200 to 150. So we can see that right off the bat, we've got some imbalance here in Nogiers A. We've got an imbalance in Nogiers D, E, 2 of them. So Nogiers A, remember, it's skin, ears, glands, teeth, nerve, brain, eyes. Okay? And so this is very low, so it would be appropriate to actually take that and run some balancing frequencies. And of course, you're going to do that exactly the same way that you do anything else. We can also see that Nogiers E is out of balance, and that's for pain, spinal cord, skin disorders, okay? So that is those main ones that are out of balance. Now, we talked about what A, B, and C has an impact on. Let's talk about D. D is for coordination. It helps to coordinate both sides of the brain, and it also helps reduce stress. Okay. Nogiers E is also for pain. It has an impact on the spinal cord and skin disorders. It resonates with the spinal cord and the peripheral nervous system. Uh-oh. Come back, come back. hate this on this new update here, kids, because it just tends to go off on me there. Okay, so this one, Nozier's D, has an impact, as I just said, on pain, the spinal cord, and skin disorders. It has also been found to reduce excess calcification, such as bone spurs or arthritic joints in the body as well. I deliberately left up this update available here to remind you, do not update at this point. According to Karen, she has suggested to us that we do not update, so I'm just going to tap ignore. I know it's irritating, but keep tapping ignore. And so what we're talking about is updating the actual Infinity, not your iPad device, but the Infinity. You can update your iPad, as far as I understand from Karen, and we do have a couple that we have updated, and the device is still working, but I have not updated the Infinity itself. It still works fully, so if it comes up and asks you to update, just hit ignore. Let's look at Nozier's F. This is for emotional reactions. Helps to balance hormones, helps with muscle spasms, facial pain, headaches, depression, helps with healing of non-healing bone fractures, helps to balance the thalamus and the hypothalamus, two major body control centers, resonates with the subcortical or lower regions of the brain for speech, for memory, unconscious reactions and reflexes. And it's also been known to improve circulation. Why? You know, again, this is so imperative. If you have somebody that is having headaches or they're depressed, the reason that frequency F would help them to support their bodies balancing is because it balances the thalamus and the hypothalamus, okay, two of your major stress areas in your body. It also helps with those lower regions of the brain. So if you have somebody that has had a stroke perhaps, or has maybe some early onset of dementia or something, maybe speech, memory, unconscious reactions and reflexes, also improves circulation. So that'd be a great one to use Nozier's F. Let's look at Nozier's G. Intellectual organization is what it has an impact on. Memory, psychological disorders, nervousness and worry. It resonates with the cerebral cortex of the brain, the thinking, the imaging, and the creating. It also has been known to reduce inflammation and scar tissue on tendons and ligaments. Again, if this is all you had in your Infinity, you could be cooking. Okay, and remember, F and G are harmonic frequencies, so there are several different waves or signals being offered within that, and it is a grouping of signals for those two. The L frequency has an action on the equilibrium of the laterality of the body, okay? So it helps with situations and disturbances where there is non-harmonious functioning of the laterality in the body, in the brain. And so it helps with dyslexia, learning difficulties in school, concentration disorders, memory disorders, nervous depression. It has an impact on helping people to stop smoking and also to help wean them from antidepressant medications. Now, that is pretty awesome. Let's just take a look here too. I want to remind you to go down here to your question mark after you hit ignore, and let's tap that question mark. Here is a little bit different information about the Noziers. You'll notice that L is not on there yet. Hopefully, again, it will be when the update comes out. But I want you to see these three things down here. Analgesic frequencies. So if you place E and G in one of your balancing trays, or maybe one on the top and one on the bottom, and use your MEP, you are going to generate a frequency that helps with pain. Okay, so that's really important. I have used that many times. Second one there is the coupling of A, B, and F. These are for regenerating frequencies. So if somebody has a broken arm or a broken leg, or they've had some kind of surgery, something like that, or some major trauma to the body or to the brain, that'd be great. Regenerating frequencies, A, B, and F. So again, you can split them up between the two balance trays, or you can put them all in one balance tray and just go ahead and use that. Also, down there, the very last one, muscle relaxing frequencies. Well, what would that be great for? Well, we live in Southwest Florida, where everybody that comes down here golfs, and we get golfers sometimes that have a lot of stress in their muscles just because of the repetitive action of golfing. Now, that can happen with people that work in particular jobs where they have repetitive motions and things that they must do over and over, which is what repetitive means, Brenda. Thank you. But anyhow, help them balance or relax their muscles using C, D, and G. Wow, that is awesome. So I just wanted to take you there and let you know that you can always go there and take a look and find some really neat things to do. Okay, Sharron, I see that you have some questions or something up there. So let's go.
Yes, Annette was asking, and I think you've answered it, do any of the nosures address emotions? And yes, you were talking about several ones. F particularly was one for that.
Emotional reactions, correct? And also I would say, Annette, try G2 because it's intellectual organization for psychological disorders, nervousness, and worry, and it has to do with thinking, imaging, or imagining and creating in your mind. So, I mean, I would definitely use both of those because I think that that would be very important. And also L would also, I mean, of course, look to the person's body. Don't forget that I always tell you that because, I mean, you might come in here and like this, we see that L is okay. So maybe we don't use L, but maybe F and G are out of balance, or maybe only one of them is out of balance. Use whatever the body is asking for. Remember, don't second guess the body, but you want to be able to use things that help, and you want to know what you're doing. And that's what Integrity Biofeedback Academy is all about. It's helping you to know how to use your devices. For those of you who have a life system, I'm sorry, by the time we get to January, we'll have a computer where we'll bring up the life system as well so you can see those screens. But for those of you who are using the life system, you do not have the nose years as such in your life system. However, you can go into the time-specific panel and you can add in these different frequencies. You can't add in the F and the G because those are harmonic frequencies. If you understand that, you could add that into your sweep. But if you are just starting out with this, I would say stick with the A, B, C, D, and E, and if you want to, maybe look a little more into the harmonic frequencies, you could use that in the sweep. Okay, Sharron?
Susan was asking about a little while ago, and since you're just mentioning again, placing the frequency in the sweep. That's talking about the life system?
That is the life system. That is correct.
And that's some of the training that they get with the life system proficiency training. It's all in there of how to do that. So that's referring to that.
Yes.
Annette is also asking, is it more advantageous to actually listen to the nosures rather than just play them for balancing? That's a good overall question too.
Yes.
In general.
And thanks for that question. I get that question a lot because a lot of times people say, I don't like that sound. I get that. The thing of it is it's like another layer. It's sending an auditory signal to your body. It is generating that signal. If you do not like the signal and you don't want to listen to the signal, and hopefully you have the little geo harnesses, just put those geo harnesses on, and you don't have to listen to the sound. You don't really have to listen to the sound at all, but it does add another nice layer. So again, it's good, better, best. But if it's irritating to you, don't worry about it.
Okay, that kind of goes with a question that we were going to address this week. I know we promised, and I forgot about it. I'm sorry, but it's just come to my mind with my little note here. Does the person need to actually be holding the device and looking at the device and listening to we just addressed the listening part, but when you're working on someone, should they have it in hand
Um,
to be effective?
It absolutely does not have to be in the hand of the person that's doing or that's receiving the session. Absolutely not. Again, I'm going to say good, better, best. In our office as practitioners with clients that are coming in, the clients are never in charge of the device. They're never holding the device in their hands. Sometimes they're wearing the geo harnesses, especially if there's pain involved. I'll put those geo harnesses or give them to them and ask them to place them wherever the pain is. Occasionally, depending on which client it is or who we're working with, if they're in the office, we will put certain things up on the screen that they can be watching, because it's very calming, as you all know, when you're seeing that device working there. It is a very calming experience, so you can go ahead and put that up and let them see it. If they are not in your office, which means that they are at distance, the efficacy of this is equal to being in your office. The only other thing I want to say is that when they're in your presence, it gives you the opportunity to build a relationship. We know that well over 50% of the outcome for medical patients and even clients of people in our fields, their direct outcome, over 50% of it, is based upon their relationship with the practitioner. So you need to build a relationship with someone even when you're working with them at distance. And today, with all the technology that we have, you can do FaceTime with them, you can Skype with them, you can do whatever you need to do, and you can meet them and start building a relationship. So if they're at distance, you are using the quantum energy field, okay, and you are sending a specific signal to their bodies. Their bodies become like a receiver, and you are sending that energy to them. You are setting the intention as the practitioner, whether it's your family or someone else. You are setting an intention that you are sending a vibration that their body is asking for and that it will be received. And indeed, it is. There has been so much research done. You know, people ask me all the time, oh, how does that work? Well, I'll tell you, there has been research done that is absolutely mind-blowing. Way back, I think it was in the 80s, way back in the 80s. Can you imagine that we're saying way back in the 80s, Sharon? Way back in the 80s, Jacques Benavista, I believe is how you say his name, he actually found that the digital signal for different like the digital signal for, let's say, one of the frequencies here, he actually recorded the frequency and then sent it via email to New York City, where they were able to play it, and it had the same impact on the people that were in the area that that particular audio file was being played. But even more interesting was they had a glass goblet that sat in the middle of this long table where there were these different researchers, scientists, medical doctors, and he, through intention and setting a, how he did this exactly, I can't tell you because I'm not exactly sure, but the intention was, I guess, with the address and whatever, to send a vibration to that goblet that would actually be the resonating vibration, and it would cause that goblet to burst like we see when the opera singer hits a particular note. And actually, they had the time set. They knew exactly when it would happen. He began the transmission, and the glass burst in front of this entire table of people. We know that energy doesn't know any distance, no space, and no time. It is instantaneously wherever we send it. So not only are your thoughts traveling that fast to the people that you love around you and who are in far places at this point, but it's also the energy as practitioners that we are sending with our devices and through our intention. So They do not have to hold the device. They do not have to even be in the presence of the device. It works. And try it out on yourself. Make sure that you are fully on board with it, because the last thing we want is a practitioner that is not on board with what's taking place. So I challenge you to try at distance. You will be pleasantly surprised.
The course that Brenda teaches, I'll just say Principles of Energetic Intervention. This is just a taste of what you get in that course. It's very interesting and fascinating, and does talk about the latest research and experiments that have been done to prove exactly what she's talking about. So that's the Principles of Energetic Intervention. Check that course out. I think you'd be delightfully surprised at the information you get from that. Very interesting. Along with that, Susan is asking, if I'm balancing someone else and I listen to their frequencies, do I get affected by them too? Great question.
That's a $50,000 question, Susan, and I like it. And I'm surprised Sharron didn't yell out that you get 50,000 points with that. Absolutely. You are impacted by the vibration because it is being emanated. Okay, so you are impacted. The awesome thing about that was, or is, when I first started in this field, I had had an immune system collapse and was told that I would not live. About 18 months after that, I was still ill, sick, couldn't be out of bed more than about 20 minutes out of the hour. Started with biofeedback, and in under like 3 months, I think it was, they asked me to come on board to work in that office. I did. I began doing biofeedback for other people, and guess what? Everything that my body needed that I was sending to clients that were sitting in my chair, I was getting stronger and healthier and stronger and healthier, and I didn't even have time to work on myself. And I can remember my mother saying to me, oh, she was so concerned because I wasn't, she'd say, well, did you work on yourself? And I said, Mom, no, I didn't. I had like 8 clients today. And she'd say, oh, well, don't forget you. Well, what happened very, very quickly was, you know what? I didn't need to work on me because, yes, I was impacted by those vibrations. So the answer to that is yes. And the second part of that, which someone will, I'm sure, pop in with, is can it harm us being in all of these frequencies? Well, the body itself, a healthy body, says, if I need that vibration, I take that vibration. If I don't, I am able to repel it. And you need to thank God for that right now, because there are hundreds of thousands of frequencies crisscrossing this planet, and they are passing through you, passing around you, in your building, in your home, in your bed at night when you're sleeping. And if your body took in every single signal, when you opened your mouth, you'd be Scott Pelley on the evening news. The thing of it is that your body has this wonderful, beautiful, innate wisdom, and it does not take what it does not need. Now, having said that, if you have a very, very sick person who is very weak in their energy field, and they are sitting in that energy all the time, it can overwhelm them. I have a couple of students who have become practitioners who are very sensitive to the energy because of their own situations, and they must leave the room with the life system when they are actually scanning, because the life system will scan you for about 7,000 different vibrational imbalances, and so they have to leave the room completely when that is taking place. But when they turn around, they're doing the session, they're okay within that energy. So you have to pay attention to yourself, Susan. If you feel weakened or you feel disrupted at the end of the day, pay attention to that, because your body is saying to you, hey, this isn't working out well. So then what you're going to do is you're going to get on the internet and you're going to look for something like a Q link. It's just Q and then the word link. I don't get any kickback for this, but I'm just telling you something like that. It is a harmonizer. It helps the body to actually harmonize the vibrations. So that would help to protect you. So you might want to do that. Uh-oh.
Here's an interesting couple of things coming in here. So Susan is saying, so if I'm balancing others for some hours, can I get over frequency? To coin a new verb there. That's over frequency.
Yeah.
I usually don't mix up things like that.
Right. Well, that's what I was just addressing with you. Absolutely. That can happen. But what you need to do is either wear something that helps to protect you. You can also put, which I didn't mention, you can put different gemstones in your office space that helps to absorb different frequencies and computer waves and things. On the app, you're not dealing with as much negative vibration because of the size of the app, so you're not dealing with as much radio activity or radiation as when you're dealing with the CPU, a computer. But the signals that you're actually sending out, again, like I say, if you feel that you're weakened by that, then you may need to step away from that and take maybe less clients during the day. But generally speaking, my experience and my belief about this has been that the body in this healing type atmosphere will take what it needs and leave behind what it doesn't need. But again, the app is easier on you. If you're using the Life System, you've got either a desktop or a laptop. You can be picking up the CPU radiation that could impact you in a negative way. So it just really depends on the person. If you're healthy, again, just pay attention. Put some stones around, put some crystals around that will help to deflect some of that. Essential oils are great. Wearing essential oils helps to bring up your vibration and help to protect you as well from different frequencies.
Okay, and here's a good thought from Cynthia. We'll end with this because it's kind of a thought question. And Cynthia, the one about your life system, we're going to defer to next time because it's something we need to do because we're running out of time. But here's what she's saying. I worked on a wife once, and no sooner did I work on her that her husband passed a kidney stone. Yet the husband was not there during the session. Can you address that?
Well, the wife, when she showed you, I don't know if she showed you on the Life System. Oftentimes what will happen is when you live with people, whether you work with them closely, you live with them, your children, your spouses, your whatever, people that you're around, you will carry their vibration in your energy field. So in other words, if that woman showed you a stress towards kidney stones on the Life System, and maybe you gave a signal for that, you would also be sending that signal into her energy field, and that would also be impacting the person where that signal came from. So energy is not it cannot be harnessed and like you're just shielding her and just sending it directly to her. She's kind of like a conduit. So yes, you can impact the whole household when you're sending energy to one person in that household, and especially if that person was at distance. Okay, and you're sending that energy to them at distance, what's going to take place is anybody in that household is strongly going to have that vibrational frequency available to them.
She's saying that that was hands-on energy work at that point in time, not necessarily using a device. So
I see. Okay. Well, sure. Absolutely. Especially if that had been some of the conversation taking place with the client. Yeah, because your intention played in there as well. So you may have sent enough energy to that person that their connection with the other person impacted them.
Okay. Also, Susan is saying, I have a BioLife pendant. Do you know about that brand?
I've heard of it. I don't know about it, but I think, Susan, that most everything works the same way. I don't think, again, that any of them are mutually exclusive. I think that all of them work the same way. It's kind of like all of our cell phones. They all go on and on and on about how they have fiber optics, fiber optics. But guess what? They all use fiber optics, and they all use the same satellites, and they all use the same things. So it really, really, I don't think it matters. You can test it on yourself, muscle test yourself to see if it makes you strong when you're wearing it or if it makes you weak. That's another way of doing that.
Okay. Ending up here, a comment from Susan. She says, I do notice that others whom I balance seem to also have broken bones. Those frequencies are in the custom panels with other stuff we want to check. It is a bit confusing. It happens with other stuff too.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused about that question or statement, but when you make a customized panel, I'm assuming maybe that you have purchased some already made customized panels. While that is really wonderful for the practitioner selling them to you, it isn't real specific for you. So if you have somebody that you're working on that has a broken bone, we've shared this with you before. In our product, we had a woman that from Romania, client's mother, who was beaten and robbed and left for dead, and she had a broken hip, a broken shoulder, a broken arm, a broken wrist, elbow, blah, blah, blah. What I did was I went in and I created very specific panels on those bones or on that hip area, all of the muscles, all of the nerves, all of the ligaments, all of the bones that would be in that area. So you do that too. Create your own customized panels, and you know what would be really awesome is to go into that customized panel and make one for whatever bone or situation you're talking about, put that into the customized panel then to run the scan on it, and then put whatever comes up in there, maybe down in the multi-RX, you know, up to 3, 4, 5, 6 of the different things that might be out of balance, and then go up to the nose year frequencies and look for the ones that are for things like pain or like muscles or skeletal pain or tendons, bones, things like that, which happens to be C, and go and use that in the Balance RX and do your MEP and send those frequencies, you know, using the multi-element phase button. I think that'd be great. And that's
Yes.
actually what we did. Mm-hmm.
And what she's saying, this is something that you can talk about more next week because I see where she's going with this. These were homemade panels. I was not organized enough. She says, I made some for me with the bones and also put in other things. Then I checked someone else for the other things, but the broken bones were in there too. The person or the cat seemed to have broken bones.
Oh, I see.
That's
I see.
interesting. And that is something
Uh-huh.
that is a
Yeah,
great thing to
that
address
is.
next time because why are other people resonating with
Yes.
other people's stuff, so to speak? Why
Yes.
do we resonate at all on the system? So
Yes.
that's a
Yes.
good question. We will talk
Yes.
about that next time.
And don't forget that you can go to your customized panel and you can delete some of the things that are in there. So delete the things that you don't want to have coupled in that customized panel. And you don't have to do the whole panel over, but take out what you don't want and make a panel solely for that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you. And we send you light, love, and many blessings. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And we will talk with you again next Wednesday.